Okay, three little things. So, this month, when we went into Gratitude Month, I asked you all to wake up every morning and give yourself three things to be grateful for before you got out of bed. How many of you are doing this?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's good. How many of you are out yourself? Oh, look, no hands go up. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Yeah. Three things before you get out of bed. I'm going to be honest. For the last 2 weeks, I've been doing it most days. There are moments I'm halfway down the hall and I'm like, I'm out of bed. And I forgot to be grateful. And I literally have jumped back into bed, pulled the covers up, and went, now what is that I want to be grateful for? Literally. One day, we had the kids last week, and Nora saw me out in the closet and go, out of the closet. Nora saw me out of the bedroom. That happened a long time ago. And I'm coming down the hallway, and I went, and I ran back in and climbed into bed. And she kind of walks in, she's like, what was that? So, are you tired? I was like, no, I forgot to be grateful. So, are you, it's very crazy around my house. Our kids she thinks I'm crazy. They do, a lot of the time. And I'm not, I'm God. And as God, boy, there is just so much craziness to take part in. So are you being grateful before you start your day? And then at night, your job was to be grateful for things that happen that you weren't expecting to happen. What showed up, and that's when you get back into bed to just lay there, and before you fall asleep, fill your mind with gratitude. Let your subconscious mind cling on to what you tell it you want to dream about, so that you're not going to bed with the struggles of the day or whatever happened that you weren't happy with, which is what a lot of people do. They go to bed with all the struggles of the day and still thinking about what they're annoyed about, that person that annoyed them, that thing that happened, whatever it is. And that's what we take into our subconscious dreams, and then our dreams dream about it. That's where nightmares come from. Will constantly has nightmares. And I know it's because when he goes to bed, he usually goes to bed after some crazy episode of CSI or some Doctor Who, and literally in the middle of the night, he's like standing over my bed, giving me a heart attack because I wake up and there's a body standing over my bed, and he's like, I think I got scared. Just like, I get it. No more of that kind of stuff to take yourself to bed. He's going to kill me for telling you all that. No more taking ourselves to bed like that. So, are you succeeding at this? I mean, it really is a game changer. Three little things. Three little things. And here's the thing about gratitude. It's not about the things you're grateful for. What you are grateful for is the direct result of how you've used your mind thus far. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in your life. So it's actually a way for you to cognitively and to intellectually go back and go, wow, look how powerful I am. I have that to be grateful for. We are not the religion that believes that we are just blessed out of nowhere. We are the religion that understands I am God and everything about me is creative, and therefore what shows up is because I recognize I am one with all of this. And more as I recognize what's good and that I am one with it, it just keeps expanding. Y'all get that? Yeah. Three little things. So, gratitude for everything. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. So this week was a challenging week for some to look around the world and be grateful. To feel gratitude for everything. Gratitude for everything which is in the song, everything that's happening, not just the good things, not the things that we relegate as good. Albert Einstein said, the most important decision we will ever make is whether or not we believe we live in a hostile world or a friendly world. The most important decision we will ever make is whether we believe we live in a hostile world or a friendly world. Now, he didn't say the most important decision you'll ever make is whether or not it is a hostile world or a friendly world. It's not the way it reads. Do you believe it's hostile or friendly? Because what you believe is the energy you put around this world. Do I live in a world that is friendly? Do I live in a world that is hostile? Can something come along and pull the rug out from under me? Or do I stand on solid ground at all times, no matter what? So, the other day, when the information came out about what happened in France, my initial response was sadness, was a very pained sadness. I saw it on the news. It was hard to not see it everywhere you go and to hear people talking about it everywhere you go. And I shared in CPR that someone said to me, doesn't it just make you feel, especially as a speaker, like whenever you're standing somewhere, there's the chance that you're going to get shot? And I said, not unless I speak badly. I did, because I needed to make light of that moment. And I said, no, here's the deal. I said, I cannot go through my life worried about what's going on around me, because my real focus is what's going on within me, because what's going on within me is going to create what is going on around me. And I either believe that or I don't believe that. I either believe I live in a friendly world or I live in a hostile world. And that belief guides me and takes me everywhere I go. So, as I was putting this talk together, and I've given great thought to how I wanted to approach this subject, and what I realized is that I'm very grateful that, how do I want to say this? I'm grateful that I spent all the time I've taken in my life to get to where I am today. I'm very grateful that I've studied what I've studied so that I can stand here and say things that matter, and I know matter, and say things that I know resonate with many of you, or you wouldn't be here. I'm very grateful for all of that. But when something like this comes along, what's really important is to hear what you're thinking and to really get what you're thinking and to get what's happening in our congregation when something like this happens. So, Mark, if you would, please, and Jason, I'm going to actually ask you to help me with this and take this. So, Mark, if you would pull up the house lights. What I'm going to ask you today, it's just a question and answer. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me how you feel about what's been going on. I'm not going to talk for long, but to share your feelings. And mostly about, do you believe you live in a friendly world or a hostile world? So, who would like to share what they're feeling about what's going on? Don. And the camera's going to shoot you, so stand up, please, and talk to everyone. The camera is going to, yes.
Thank you. Well, my real feeling about this is different than it used to be, but I think for me, you either come from love or you come from fear. The people who did this are so blinded by their fear that they can't see who they are, and they can't see who their victims are. And I think that is really the nub of the whole thing.
Thank you. Okay, so, thank you. Yes, thank you, Doc. And you bring me to another subject which is important for me, which is, and this is going to, but I am going to say it. In a teaching that says there are no victims, how do we make that work in this situation? When it is very clear to the eye that what's gone on has brought forth victims and perpetrators. How do we live in a consciousness? How do I navigate my world when what I see in the world is victim and perpetrator, and yet come from a belief that says there is no such thing, there is only love, there is only creative energy, and we can use it any way we decide? So, thoughts? Anyone? Yes, over here. Richard. Oh, did you guys not put batteries in these? Do it again? So you got to go run and get batteries, please, quickly. Okay, yell out, Louise. Yeah, go ahead, Richard. What are you feeling?
Oh, my initial reaction was puzzlement. Why do people do that sort of thing? And I think when you talk about victims and why, I come from a Jewish Catholic background.
Oh my God.
And Not only am I guilty about everything, I'm responsible.
Okay, for those of you at home that didn't hear this, he said he comes from a Jewish Catholic background. Not only is he guilty, he's responsible. Are you a comedy writer for sitcoms? Because that's a great one-liner.
But we were talking about the victims, and it really goes back for centuries. In my opinion, when we have a world that works for some people and not for others, that's where the seeds of discontent grow. And it's a little sick, it's a lot sick for some reason. I don't know why these people think that they come from a country that protects their right to believe and worship and whatever, and then for some reason for some reason they feel they have a right to kill people who don't believe exactly the way they believe. That's a strange thing to us. But when you come from such deprivation, we wonder why the Nazis took hold. Because they lived in a world that wasn't working for them. It was working for everyone else. So I'm not here to tell you what the answer is, but...
I am. So, no, but you said something really, really provocative there, which is, do we live in a world, because I'm going to turn it back around. Do we really live in a world that works for some people and doesn't work for others? I mean, that's the question. Do we live in a world that works for some people and doesn't work for others? Yes or no? Yes. How many for yes? How many no? Okay, I believe the answer is yes. We do live in a world that works for some people and not for others, because some people think it doesn't work for them, and others think it does. We live in whatever we decide to live in. As Albert Einstein said, do you live in a hostile world? If you believe you live in a hostile world, you live in a hostile world. If you believe you live in a friendly world, you live in a friendly world. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. Our job, our responsibility as religious scientists is to bring our minds to everything, to bring our truth to everything. I live in a friendly world. And I'm sorry, no one gets to take that away from me. No one gets to tell me I need to be afraid of them. No one gets to say to me, you may be in trouble. No one gets to do that. I'm the only one that gets to do that. And a world where everyone joined in and knew that would transform this world. We are spending way too much time being convinced that we live in a hostile world. And our job is to give gratitude for everything, to love everything in such a way that we start to really understand and know we live in a friendly world. And there are those in it that don't. There are those in this world that do not live in a friendly world. They live in a world of fighting and wanting, as you said, people to believe as they believe. And yet, if we all sat down and really went to threw away all the crap, we'd get to God is all there is. The problem is, your God and my God apparently aren't the same God. But I'm not going to live in that world either. My job is to bring my mind wherever it needs to go. So right behind you. Who else? You had your hand up, right?
Yeah, I did. I was swimming today, and I was thinking, how did I get in a world where some people feel that it's okay to kill other people because they disagree with them? And swimming, and all of a sudden I thought, well, it's like the world's a pool. If you use the analogy of a pool, and everybody in it, is part of us. And to sit by and watch some people swimming in the pool killing other people in the pool is wrong. I mean, not to get into the whole political conversation, we played a big part in creating these people. And as a country and as a society and as a community, we need to recognize that. But we also need to recognize, I think, that we need to reach out to these people. We can't just be looking at them and pointing out the fact that they are living in fear. We've got to bring the love to them.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, it's interesting you bring up politics. most people say religion and politics should be separated. I believe they're the exact same thing. And if more people actually dealt with politics from love only, we'd have a much different world. And the fact that you say that we played a part in this, here's the thing, folks, and this is, I think, the most important part to really get about your mind. There's the macrocosm that is the mind, and there's the microcosm that is the mind. There is your individual mind, and then there is the mind of the universe that you are. Now, the mind of the universe has a lot of individualized microcosmic minds thinking into it. And when we all think into that which is the collective consciousness creates a race consciousness. And the race consciousness right now is hostile. Most people do feel that we live in a hostile, scary world. And we start pointing fingers. And what Philip just said is exactly right. Here's our job. This is the gift we have. You get to add your consciousness to that race consciousness, and the more people that add to the race consciousness, politics must follow. Because they're going to have to follow. Very often, when you see some of the politicians, they are coming from fear. They're trying to get votes by scaring people. And when that happens, fear politics just creates more of the same. I'd like to finally find a political party that is love politics. Imagine where that would happen if we actually had the Republicans, the Democrats, the Independents, the Liberals, the blah, 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 and the lovers. Because if more people just took their minds and put them to work on whatever was going on, I think at whatever is going on will not be able to go on, because darkness cannot exist when light is shone upon it. That's what we're about. Dana, 2 more. 3 more. I am watching my time. Oh, apparently not.
For me, I was interested in my reaction, which was initially, oh my God, what's this world coming to? Why is this happening? To immediately going into treatment.
Good.
And for me, my thought was, if we all could do that, that is so powerful. Instead of saying, why is this happening, and pointing fingers, if we could start that spiritual practice of immediately going into knowing love only, like you said, it will change the consciousness. And the consciousness of the world is changing.
Right.
We just have to, that's
Keep it up.
We have to have that action behind the thought.
Right. Well, Ernest Holmes says turn entirely away from the condition in treatment. Just to be clear. Right, Karen Frost? Turn entirely away from the condition in treatment. But I don't think there's a problem, Dana, with saying, why is this happening? I think you'd better be saying, why is this happening? Why is this happening is a fine question. Now make sure you answer it with spiritual logic and not with relative facts. It's happening because not enough minds are focused on love, therefore I take my mind, focus on love, I turn entirely away from the condition and know the truth. That love is even at the center of this. As hard as that may be for some people. Okay, our last one. Where's that? You got it?
I got it.
Oh. Where'd you go? Okay, Juana.
Yeah, hi.
We can't get you on film because of where you're sitting.
That's okay.
You're good.
Yeah,
It's Juana.
Yeah, I'm good. And I guess that's the word I want to start with, is good. Because when I first came to this teaching, I was a victim. I did not think the world was friendly. I was scared. I lived in fear and lack. That's not the case today.
Nope.
And so when this happened, what I did was I go, oh my God, there is a lot of fucking hostility in the world, okay?
That was a spiritual sentence,
Yes.
just to be clear.
And in the next thought, I said, love. Love only. And that's it, period. Period, end of story. I may look out there and see all the hostility that is going on in the world and suffering, but in my world, I can be love and I can give love. I can be love and I can give love, and keep doing that over and over and over again until the glass is not half full of fear. It is full of good and love.
Yep. Good. Thank you, Juana. And just one more, because I would like to hear Lindy. So if you could get that down to her. Because I am going to close with something that someone said who was actually in the middle of the concert that was attacked. And he was on television this morning and stopped me in my tracks. I wasn't really paying attention, but I heard something, and I stopped and looked. And I went in and listened while Kevin was watching, and what he said was so moving, because this was a man standing in the mosh pit of the concert as all the bullets were flying and his people were going down. And what he said about this. Lindy.
When I first heard about it, of course, I was really sad and thought, oh gosh, this is their 9/11. It happened in several places. And then I talked to the girls, the twins, on Saturday morning. I said, did you hear what happened? And they said, no. And I explained to them. And I said, these are people that are not well. They're sick. If we all believe truly that all the gifts have already been given, what is so for me is there's a space in those people that is so fearful and so lacking that they can't see it, just as you said, they're blind. But then that's a call for help as well. Mm-hmm. And the only way that that can be helped is by our consciousness and holding the space for them to see the whole picture,
Thank you.
Truthfully.
That's great. You said all the gifts have already been given. Well, that's true. Everything that there is in the universe is already present. But as Ernest Holmes says, you don't get to receive the gift until you're willing to take it. And taking it requires you mentally taking it, not going out and taking it, mentally taking it, being mentally equal to it. To say that someone is sick, I stay away from that only because I know that they think we're sick. And that whole concept just keeps duality in its place. They're sick, they need our help. Oh, really? Well, they think we're sick, and we need their help to get us done, to be done. So I get all of that consciousness. I understand that. But if it's true that all the gifts have been given, then we have to be the ones willing to take it ourselves, to really, really take it in ourselves. So this gentleman, beautiful young man, and he was on, and they were trying to, I loved that the newscaster was trying to get the juicy stuff of what it felt like to be standing in the center of a group that was all being murdered, and he wouldn't go there. He just said, I have to be honest, and he actually said these two words. He said, love only. He said, I can't hate them. I have no hate in my heart for those people. I don't. And I have nothing but love. He said, and until we come from love, there's going to continue to be people shooting. But if we can come from love and just forget all of this stuff out here, be willing to say, I come from love. He said, why is it, and this is what I thought too, why is it that you were standing right there in the middle of it all and nothing happened to you? And he even said, I'm 6'4". He said, I was above the crowd. I was an easy target. He said, but nothing happened to me. He said, we have to come from love. We have to stop coming from fear, anger, revenge, and just come from love. So, 3 little words. Love, love, love. That's it. If we're willing to take our minds and take our hearts and take our, as Jay said, our intuitive knowing, tap into that. And every time, as Dana said, something comes up, you can have your first moment. We're all going to have our first moment. But what's the second moment? That's the most important part. It's not what was the first moment, and how many conversations do you allow to continue from there? How often do you allow it to be a part of all the stuff that's being said in the world? Or do you, every time you hear it, know the truth about it? And make sure you stay where you are, which is from love. Love is an energy. Gratitude is an energy. I am grateful for all of it. What happened in 9/11, what it has brought forth, there is much to be grateful for within all that has come from that moment in time. And I know that's going to be true for all in time and eternity because we are part of divine evolution. That means it is always, always expanding and growing for its highest and best good. And so I say, love, grace, I bless every single person that was a part of that, every person that was a part of that, every person that was affected by that, which is all of us in this room, every single one of us. But what it is, it's just a call to action, to remember who you are and to love only. 3 little things. I love only. Namaste. And thank you.